Hi, and welcome back to another episode on how to hack. So over here, we have Open Web Application Security Project Juice Shop running. So once we're on this vulnerable web application server, we can do all of our testing against the server. So on the top right corner, we have account, and we can do a login directly to any account. So one thing that we want to introduce and learn today is about web developer option. So we can click onto the top right corner. We can click on the web developer and we can click on toggle tools. So once we're in toggle tools, we'll be able to see all the different tools that we have. So we have inspector, which can help us inspect elements of a website to understand more about the site. We have console, which tells us about the items and activities that are happening onto the web developer. And we have debugger, all right, so to debug more information. So we can look at the JavaScript information that are being loaded. So we also did a minify item, so we actually try to deminify the JavaScript so that it becomes human readable, and we can try to segment out which are the pages, so we learn about how to access some of these items within the JavaScript. And the really important part is on network. So network actually help us understand what kind of application programming interfaces could have been called and what kind of data that are being transacted between the web application server and your web browser. So of course we did a earlier tutorial about SQL injection. So over here we can see there is an email field, so we can go ahead and actually enter a single quote or 1 = 1, and we can just enter whatever password we want. And of course we can click on login, and we will log in successfully as an admin account. Okay, so this is the first row that is actually being queried by the database when we try to do a login, which is why we ended up with this particular account the moment we try to log in. So once we're in, we can see, for example, we have a who am I, so we have the response, and we have all this different data. Okay, so we managed to get some token. We get the UMail as well. All right, so we can see all this data and information that are being sent to us, and we even get the IP address that is also being sent over. Okay, so we get all this different data, all this different information. All right, so we can see the method, whether it's a get or whether it is a post of information. All right, so all these are very important points to understand about what's happening. So the next thing that we want to look at is in terms of understanding about the account details. So for example, over here, if I click under account and I click under orders and payment, and if I click on save address, for example, I can again go into web developer. All right, and we can click on network. And again, we can try to reload the site. Okay, so we can actually do a refresh. And we can see the kind of information that are being funneled to us from the web application server. All right, so we can click on address and we can see some information. All right, so we can click on, for example, response. So we have the mobile number over here, which is actually not being shown. All right, we can get the mobile number. We can get the zip code that is also being shown here. We have test and so on and so forth. All right, so very quickly, we can find out all these different items. So we found the hidden mobile number that's actually not here at all, okay? So the next thing we can try to do is also click under account, click under orders and payment, and we can click under the payment options. So if you click on payment options, what you can see here is we have all this asterisk that actually mask out the first 12 characters of a credit card. So in our case, we are only seeing the last 4 digits of the credit card. This is again for security purposes and for all these different details, so we can see the name and we can see all this different data. So what we can do, because as a result of looking at the network traffic that's being sent in and out between the web browser as well as the web application server, we can also try to find out what are the exact credit card details. And if I click over here on the cards, immediately, if I zoom in a little more, we can see the actual card numbers, and we see the ending as 4368. So this coincides with the safeguards that we have over here. So immediately we can find out those details and data. All right. And likewise for the second credit card, we are also able to find out the full credit card details. And why is that the case? The reason is because a lot of times the web application server, all right, so whether it is a off-the-shelf web application server or whether it is a custom built from ground up, from ground zero, whatever the case is, sometimes the developers may have coded the credit card details or some data or information that is being sent from the web application server into the web browser. And what they do is that they only change the value later on using JavaScript, which means that we actually get the full data into our browser, and our browser will manipulate the display into asterisks. And that is why we're able to see it through the use of Network tab under Web Developer. So once again, I hope you've learned something valuable in today's tutorial. And if you like what you've watched, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so that you can be kept abreast of the latest cybersecurity tutorial. Thank you so much once again for watching.